Hello lovely stitchy friends. Welcome back to my channel Catkin and Lily, where we chat about all things cross stitch. I'm Kat and I'm so happy you chose to come and spend some time with me as I share my passion for cross stitch and everything that's been going on in my stitchy world for the last couple of weeks. It's the 8th of October and this means it's actually a day early that I'm filming my regular Flosstube. Although it will still go out in its regular Saturday slot unless you're a Patreon stitchy friend, in which case you'll get access to that from Thursday. And I'll share more about the reasons for being a day early in AOB at the end of the video. I do have lots of stitchy goodness lined up for you today. I've got a finish. Yay! I had a finish last time, I think. Did I have a finish? No, I actually can't remember now. I had an FFO last time. Yeah, I had an FFO last time, fully finished object. I don't have one of those, but I have a finish. I've got lots of whips again, lots of whips. This seems to be pretty much how it is at the moment. One new start, plans, and AOB. But before we get to all of that, I had to throw in a little did you see, because did you see the brand new box from Polstitches, the Ancient God and Goddess box? This one got me very excited. They release these boxes every now and then, and you can now get them as just the charts, either in PDF format or printed charts, or you can still get the box that comes with a piece of fabric. It's a random piece of fabric. It's not necessarily related to the designs that are in the box, but you do get a nice piece of fabric as well. Now, I haven't actually ever taken the plunge and got one of these. I keep eyeing them up. But this one in particular, Gods and Goddesses, is, yeah, I really like that. And the two designs in the box this time round, there is a fabulous watercolour style Triton, which is a Polstitches design, and also Artemis by Joan Elliott. Oh my goodness. Just, will you look at that? I'll put pictures into these because I love the Artemis design, especially the little animals as well. Oh, I'm feeling very tempted. And I'm sorry, not sorry if I've just tempted you as well. But anyway, I will leave links in the description. But let's move on. I'll show you some more stitching, which may or may not also be tempting and enabling. But let's start with the finish. So the finish is Seaside Tiny Town by Heart in Hand. And I'll pop my info panel up there for you so you can see the project details. And then I'll show you where I was before I got into the finish, because actually I've kind of motored on this for the last couple of weeks. It was another case of just really got stuck into it. And I was like, I want this one finished. So I started this on the 28th of June, 2025. So this year, 28th of June, finished it on the 6th of October. So yeah, only a couple of days ago. So it is hot off the ironing board. I haven't washed this one because the fabric is printed. Can be a little bit iffy. So it's only little and I haven't been working on it for long. So I haven't bothered washing it, but I have ironed it. So you'll see where I was, and obviously there is the finish. So you can see how much I've got done compared to last time. It's quite a lot. I had quite a lot left to do, and there it is, all done. So yeah, I managed to finish up loads all on this side. Yeah, I really just got stuck into it and wanted it done. Now the one thing I will say on here is I had a little bit of trouble with some of the colours because they're hand dyed and they can vary between dye lots. And they did seem to quite a lot for this. So the colours really don't look like the picture. I mean, I know there's also a thing with pictures and photographing colours anyway. But just the contrast, again, I had this the last Tiny Town I did. The contrast between some of the colours just was not amazing. It was absolutely fine. I used all the called for all the way up to here. And it was only when I got up to this one here that I really struggled. The little lighter patch in the top of the door here just was not showing up at all. It looked exactly the same colour as the rest of the door. Yeah, so I actually swapped it out, and the same in the window in here as well. I swapped it out and used 01, I think, in DMC, just to get that little bit more of a contrast. And the other thing I did very slightly differently is the three gorgeous, there's three of them, there's the other one over here, little crabs. They have beads for eyes, but not in mine. I've got, if I bring in, I'll show you this one. Hopefully you can see, he's got French knots for his eyes. Because the beads, I did try putting them on, but this is a 36 count and the beads just looked a little bit too big. So in the end, I decided to go French knots. Much as I really wanted the beads, because crabs with beads eyes was just too cute, but they're still gorgeous. They're still gorgeous. And that's my finish. So I'm very happy with that. And I don't know when it'll get FFO'd, fully finished object. Actually, no, I'm going to put that on this side. We shall see. I know what I want to do with it because I finished up Frosty Tiny Town just as a little, a tiny little panel and mounted on patterned papers. So I kind of want to do the same thing with that one, but it's more a case of when I actually get to it than anything else. So that's the finish. And now we're going to move into whips. Brace yourselves. I did say I've got a lot. I think I've got 9 or 10, including my new start, because apparently I can't stop touching everything. So let's see what we can do. And we'll start with The Wonders of the James Webb Space Telescope by Climbing Goat Designs, originally a Sal, long since finished. And I was trying on this one, I was trying to get a hexagon completed for my September WhipGo goal. To finish, the goal was to work on my oldest project, which this is, and it was to finish a hexagon. And I think last time you saw it, I had the tiniest start on the hexagon, and I was right up to the wire on this one because I just didn't have as many opportunities to stitch on it as I wanted, and I've done it. I've done it. So the hexagon in question is, hang on, this one up here. So that's what I'm doing, and there it is, all finished. All finished. Fantastic. Very, very happy with that. It actually wasn't, I mean, you can see it's not, some of these ones, like this one was a lot harder to do, probably confetti wise, and the one below, than this one. It's not too bad. So yes, got that one done literally on the last day of September. I told you I was up to the wire on this one. I really, really was. Yeah, very, very up to the wire. But it's done. So I do need to get myself set for the next hexagon in that one. Again, not quite sure when I'll get to that, but we're just slowly chipping away at that one. Now, talking of chipping away and older projects, it's time for Julia the Firefly Princess. And she's another older one. The James Webb Space Telescope was started in February 2024. And Julia was started in May 2024. So we're back to 2024 for some of these, which is, yeah, quite a while ago. But, and this one didn't, even though I started it in 2024, you've seen it now for a few weeks. I have been bringing it back out again and getting back to it, which has been so nice to get back to it. So nice. And yeah, she's only going to get a little bit because there are other fancy ladies coming up that I'm trying to put some stitches in on Julia while I can, because I think she's probably going to go on temporary timeout again in the not too distant future. So here is where I've got up to in the last couple of weeks, and it's all down here, this chunk that I've been working on. Actually, not quite, there's a tiny bit just, yeah, another tiny bit up here I think that I got back to. Yeah, I decided I'd been working, last time you saw it, I'd been working the big chunk up here, and I said I wanted to come back down to the bottom of the dress and do some down here, so I have done this lovely gradient piece at the bottom and then started some of the fill-in on there as well. So pretty. And then, well, then I really had to, this is why I then came up and actually added in a tiny bit underneath here, because having worked this, I can't really work, because I like to work constantly across this direction and up. I can't really get into this because this basically keeps looping round. So I need to come back to this, and I need to kind of work the loops of this bit around before I can kind of get back to that dress section. So that's where we are for now. Really, really, really gorgeous to work on. Absolutely love stitching this. And goes quite fast as well. Goes quite fast. And as I say, I'm going to probably prioritise her. In fact, I've had her back on, I used to have Fancy Lady Fridays, and a lot of that's gone out the window, but I have been going back to doing Fancy Lady Fridays with her and stitching her on Friday, which is rather nice. The next whip is The Mermaid's Realm by Joan Elliott. And again, this one used to have a regular slot. It was my morning stitch. So I would stitch this one in the mornings, just for half an hour or so after breakfast. And that kind of went by the wayside because, again, September just got messy with what I was stitching. And a whole load of my regular stuff kind of went out the window. So it's been nice to bring this one back for that morning slot. Again, it's not epic progress, this one, but you'll see that there is progress. Again, mainly almost entirely over on this side, a little bit into the middle as well. So just trying to work on bringing up, I think I just about finished the jellyfish and a lot of these weedy bits up the side there. And I have just, this morning actually, I've just added in a little bit more on the mermaid's body, and this is her arm. Obviously not connected yet, but that's just the bottom of her arm. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to cracking on with this one, and because it's going to be her arms coming in here and getting up to her head. So that's going to be super exciting to get to that. Yeah, very, very fun. Despite only being one colour, the stitching, it's still so much fun just seeing all the details emerge. Absolutely love it. From one colour to a few more colours for the next whip, which is the Stitchers Book Club Stitch Along by Clouds Factory. Now I nearly didn't bring this because I thought I hadn't done anything to show you, but I had done a little bit actually, so we will see it. I remembered that I hadn't quite finished part 9, the September part, when I showed you last time. I was quite close, but I hadn't quite finished it. So I have now finished it. So this section down here is now completed. And there wasn't much missing. It was only, I think all there was the Margaret Atwood figure in there that was missing. I think that was it. So yeah, done and done. As you can see, I've not got into the October part yet. A week or so into October, so I could have started it, but no, not yet, not yet. I probably should. I always say I will not should on myself, but just so I'm not scraping in under the wire at the end of October, might be a good idea to get some stitches on that bit as well. So yes, I'm sure I will be progressing that one. What have I got next? Dragon Race Into the Night. Oh yes, right, I've got to reach for the big project. So my big full coverage, artwork by Rose Catherine Kahn and charted by Pain Free Crafts. And this one had been losing out a little bit to various other projects that I wanted to work on. But I'm pleased to say I've had a bit more progress in the last couple of weeks than you'd seen before. So let's put this up and you can see, and I think you'll see it's mainly along the bottom section. Actually, no, I think I've done some sky as well. It's kind of squaring off this now in here. I've got quite a good chunk done there. So yeah, I think it's mostly been at the bottom in here. And in fact, so I'm trying to plug away at bits of sky. I filled in quite a bit underneath here. And then I've actually come back down over to here as well. So it's kind of all over this one. I kind of been everywhere again on this one, but I'm properly now coming back to this area here, because as you can see, I've kind of, so for this one I'm working across and down, and it's kind of, I mean obviously it's not a straight line because I don't work like that, but it's quite, I can't really progress much further that way. So I've come back to here, and although it's the dark section, there's some lovely details in there. There's the tree branches kind of coming down there as well, which I'm really looking forward to getting into. So yeah, so that one is currently at, oh, it's at 4.93%, so I'm actually coming up on 5% as well. That's going to be so good. And that's up from 4.64% last time you saw it. So I've added in just over 1,500 stitches in the last couple of weeks. So that's actually pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. I think, as I say, I hadn't had so much to share the last few weeks, but yes, more on that in plans as well when we get to it. But we've got to keep whipping through the whips. So it's time for One in a Chameleon by Bothy Threads. Now this one's a bit of a surprise entry. I didn't expect to be touching this one, to be perfectly honest. And it was another one, it was just calling to me. I just felt like it. See, I've got things like Stitchers Book Club. I veer between really focusing on the goals, going, I've got Stitchers Book Club, I've got, you know, various goals to meet, and then just going, no, I'm just going to stitch this thing over here that has no goal whatsoever. I just wanted to. That's totally fine. So Chameleon was calling to me, and here is where he is. So we're still working upwards on his head. Managed to do kind of up this side. I had that stick done previously. I was going to go and do, there's a couple of leaves over here, and I was going to go and do that, but I just got sucked into doing the pretty colours on his chin and up the side of his head, and his arm. Actually, I think this is all sort of filled in up here. So again, it's actually quite decent progress. Yeah, he was just, as I say, he was calling to me, and I think he's another one that I keep thinking, if I want to get some finishes, he could be. And he's just a lovely stitch. I think what it was, there were some days when you just want something really easy, and this is 14 count Ada. It doesn't get much easier than that. So yeah, it is good to have projects like that on hand. Now we're going from the biggest stitches to the tiniest stitches with the next one, which is the Fisher King by Long Dog Samplers, because this is my one on 40 count. So this is not one to be doing when I want something easy to look at. But it is amazing. It is so fabulous, this one. Absolutely love it. Now I'm going to move this. I've got a needle very near the top again. I'm going to borrow my things and clip that on, because otherwise it just gets very difficult to hold. Right. This is where we are, and again I've still been working over on this side. We've got some really fun stuff to see. I absolutely love it. I was working last time on the actually, was I last time? Had I finished this guy? I don't think I'd finished this guy. Maybe I had. I might have finished the ostrich, I can't remember, but I know I've then done, come down here, I've done, look at this, the little tiny dog. And then there's this border, which this border cuts right the way down here. And I filled in bunny rabbit and bunny rabbit with antlers, because why not? So, why not? Who knows? So as I say, this border, so my plan now is this cuts right the way down here. So I want to kind of fill in this triangle. That's the plan. So I'm going to keep, because that border's pretty epic, I've got to start working on that. So I need to do that, and then also I've got lots of fun fill-in stuff, so I can kind of alternate between the vegetables of the border and doing the fun stuff. So this one I'm stitching for whip into shape, and I will discuss some more targets on that when I get to plans. Oh, that's 10% as well. 10%. It feels fantastic, considering I've got Dragon Race, which the percentages just go up so slowly. So slowly. I mean, it's still amazing. But yeah, it's nice to have ones where, because I don't have percentages for very many of my projects. It's nice where I do to see the percentages go up just a little bit faster than Dragon Race. So 10%. Yeah, that feels great. Next whip is Stitching Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And this one I'm doing as part of the sort of informal stitch along that we're doing in my Patreon membership, so which is anything stitchy. So yeah, any kind of stitchy themed project. A few of us are doing Stitching Rules, and so we've broken it up into 7 parts and doing it kind of like a stitch along, or if you're not doing that particular design, stitch it however you want. And this is where I have got to. So I've now moved into what is part 4, which is this section here. And I've got a couple words in. Again, this one goes really quick. Really quick. Love the fun colours. Slight variegation in some of the threads on there is really nice. Beautiful, beautiful fun stitch, especially now I've got more of it. As more of it's coming in, I'm just loving it more and more every time I pick this up. And again, it's a pretty easy stitch. It's on linen, but it's kind of blocks, a bit of counting between stuff. But yeah, overall, not too bad. Again, if I want a relatively easy stitch. And last whip before I get to the new start is Little Pirates by Soda Stitch. Another project that just makes me smile. I hope it makes you guys smile as well, because I mean, pretty much all my stitching makes me smile, but this one really is something special. And yeah, really cute. So this is where we are. And you'll see I've been working over on this side. No more backstitch yet. Just the full crosses on this side. Another crab. It's apparently been week of the crabs, because I've got a crab over here and this barrel, and I think that might be half a fish up there or something. I guess it will become more apparent when I've actually stitched the rest of it, but I think it might be half a fish. I don't know. But yeah, that's been really nice. I have not got back to the boat here that I wanted to stitch, because I got bored of doing the woody bits of the boat after not very long. Decided to go over here because I wanted to stitch another little character instead. Realised I couldn't stitch the little character because I needed to stitch the wooden barrel. So I gave up doing wooden boat and ended up doing wooden barrel instead. But I did get the crab, which is amazing, and I did get then into this little character here with the purple, so there's going to be another little pirate there, which, yeah, I'm excited for that. And this one is my project for the Stitches Football Challenge. And that one, I don't know why I put my targets on here instead of in plans for this particular one. My target for that one, for all competitions for Liverpool Football Club, the numbers that I've got allocated for each match, my current target is 2,869, and I'm actually at 2,604. So I'm only about 250 odd stitches adrift from that one, which I'll do in the next football match probably. And that's at 19.4%. So yeah, that should be over 20% when you see it next time, which is fantastic. So again, another one with some, yeah, much more impressive percentages. It's not Dragon Race's fault, it's just that it's a lot of stitches. It's a lot of stitches. Now where's my... I was trying to find my little board so that I can show you my last, well, new start and now whip, which is Boos, Hisses and Cross Stitches by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And I wanted this one because I wanted a small project that I could take to the Stitchy Day, which I'll talk more about later on. But I wanted a small project. Didn't have anything really small. I had Seaside Tiny Town. That one wasn't calling to me at that point. I don't know why it called to me after that. But at that point, I didn't want to stitch that one. I wanted a new start and I wanted more Halloween. So what better excuse? So I started this one, and here is where I've got to so far. And yes, it's a little bit random. We have hissy cross chiz, because I wanted to do a bit of each of the colours so I could check that they were playing nicely together, which I think they are. These are, I haven't brought them in with me, but they are, you might have been able to tell, they're slightly variegated. The purple and the orange are Karen water lilies in iris and turmeric, I believe. And the grey in the middle is the gentle art in soot. So I think, I mean, it is very gently variegated. This orange perhaps is particularly delightful. But they do all play nicely together, because that's not the called for those three colours. None of those three are the called for. So I picked my own on this one, which is, I'm still getting used to kind of picking my own colours on things. But I'm really happy with that. Those look really, really good. And there's only 3 other colours in it, and they're really small elements. So, and I don't think they'll be controversial. It's like a cream for the ghost. I'll probably just use the called for. So, yeah. Anyway, very, very cute little start. And I can't wait to work on that one some more. I think I might work on that one today, actually, because, yeah, I was loving that one. Okay, shall we get into some plans then? Which probably involves touching everything again. And the usual, oh, can I get my whip count down kind of dilemma, which isn't helped if I do new starts. But I think I am at, with that finish that I've had, I'm at 15 whips. It's not actually all that many. It's just that, as you can see, I kind of like to touch everything, and so it gets a bit fraught when I can't. So purely for that point of view, it would be quite nice to get it down. But quite a lot of them are quite long running whips. They're quite big. They're not going to be done anytime soon. So I do kind of have to get my head around that one. Anyway, my last September goal was finishing that hexagon on James Webb Space Telescope, so that's done. So moving to October goals and to my whip goals for October, the 2 numbers that came out, the 2 themes on my board was Halloween. So that's a very easy win. I'm going to set myself the challenge to finish, it's not that much of a challenge hopefully, to finish Boos, Hisses and Cross Stitches. So that's going to be my Halloween goal for Whip Go. And then my other one that came out on Whip Go was full coverage. So I thought, what better time to kind of keep that momentum going with Dragon Race than to set myself a stitch goal. Now, therein lies the slight issue of how much do I set myself as a stitch goal, because I know what I'm like. I've done 5,000 before as stitch goals for full coverage for a month, and I can do it, but it's quite a lot. And I feel like I might be overreaching with that. On the other hand, like 2,000 would be probably too little. So I've gone for what I think is a happy medium of 3,000 stitches. So I'd like to put in 3,000 stitches on Dragon Race in October, which will be a nice amount. I mean, if I do more, that is absolutely not a problem. I've done about 1,000 already this month. So actually, yeah, I've had a couple of days, but I know for the next week or so, I'm probably not going to get to work on it. So yeah, swings and roundabouts. So that's my Whip Go goals. Obviously I have my October part of the Stitches book club to do, so we've got that. I mentioned I've got the Whip into Shape challenge, so that is the Fisher King that I mentioned I'm doing for Whip into Shape, and that one I'm feeling a little bit adrift. I've been trying to play catch up and feeling like I'm just not quite sure where I am with it all. So I've totaled everything up. To the end of week 5 would be 1,590 stitches for those 5 weeks. So I only need 365 more to reach that. So if I can do that in the next couple of days maybe, and then kind of catch up with that, I'll be back on track. And then I can keep going with taking the weekly stitches and doing them on a Sunday as I have been in the past. So I think that will even that out, because my brain's been a bit with that one and not knowing quite where I was. So we'll get back on track with that. Football challenge, as I say, we'll be carrying on with Little Pirates. Now that one, there is no football this week. And as I say, I've only got about 250 stitches to do. So I'm going to save that until the next match, which I think is not until the 19th of October. Unless something comes up that I've missed. So I probably won't touch that one again now until that football match, and I'll put those stitches in then and keep going from there. So that's good. Obviously, I want to carry on with my stitching rules as part of my Patreon stitch along, because that's part 4, and I think it's a couple weeks until part 5 starts, so definitely need to crack on with that one. And I really, really want to do some more Halloween stitching. Obviously, I've got that Halloween, that small one. I've got Halloween sampler, which I haven't brought to you, one of the very few whips that I haven't actually shared in this particular video. I really want to work some more on that. I don't think I'm going to have it done for Halloween. I'm not that crazy, but I really do want to do some. And I'm not ruling out some more Halloween smalls. I'm not sure it's very sensible, but I keep seeing really cute little designs that I quite fancy stitching. So we will see. But yeah, that's basically all the plans. But that's for the whole of October as well. So that wraps up all my plans. Let's get into AOB. And I'll start with Catkin and Lily stuff. And I had a stitch with me recently. I've been long promising it. Did stitch with me with Dragon Race Into the Night, which I had so much fun recording. I hope you really enjoyed it if you watched it. Yeah, that was fantastic. I definitely hope to be doing some more of those with Dragon Race, with other projects as well. Then I got into my tutorial on perforated paper, which didn't 100% go to plan, only in that what I had planned to cover for the video just turned out to be ridiculously long. So I've broken it all down into chunks. So this is only part 1 that's out now, which is kind of all the introduction to perforated paper, all the things I think are really helpful to know before you actually start stitching on it. Because yes, I didn't get to actually stitching on it. Video 2 will be stitching on the perforated paper and cutting out. So hopefully I'll be getting that one out fairly soon as well. And as always, I have so many other topics just kind of noodling around in my head, things that I'd like to work on, and possibly some filming with my mum as well, which I have a lot of fun doing that, and you guys seem to really enjoy it. So yeah, that would be good. I went to my first Gloucestershire, so my local Stitchy meetup, organised by Michelle. So thank you so much, Michelle, for organising it. It was wonderful. We had a table in a pub, really nice pub. So they just did nice food and drinks as well. And we had a great table, really good light, actually. I took my light because you never know with it being a pub, but actually our spot was really good. And we had, it was myself and 5 other lovely ladies, absolutely delightful to sit and chat, back cross stitch, and other things as well, and get some stitching done. So yeah, it was delightful. So much so that we agreed we'd had a wonderful time. There were quite a few other people in the group who weren't able to make it that occasion as well. So we've said we'll make it a regular monthly thing. And yeah, so I'm very excited for the next one in a couple of weeks' time. And in fact, even to a few of you who asked about it, if you're local to Gloucestershire, do give me a shout, or go on Facebook and search for the Gloucester Stitchers group, I think it is. I actually can't remember the name, but I'll put the link in the description below anyway. So if you are local and you want to come along, that would be fantastic. I know a couple of you have asked and I've directed you towards that Facebook group. So it will be wonderful to meet up with you as well. So yeah, if you're interested, I will put the link in the description. And other life stuff is just busy, just generally lots of stuff going on, as there always is. This is the reason I'm filming a day early today than I normally would, because we're then going up to my parents Thursday, Friday at the end of this week. So we'll be, so I say, as a Patreon member, if you're watching this Thursday, Friday, I've gone up to my parents. If you're watching it the weekend, well, by then I will have moved on to Farnborough to go to the Everything Electric show. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty packed few days away from home. But hopefully lots of good stuff. And as I say, that's where I may film with Mum. I've got a couple of ideas for things to share, and maybe share what she's working on as well for her stitching. So yeah, watch this space. I'll see if we can do that. But around all of the life stuff that's been going on, I have managed to squeeze in a few other little non-stitchy things as well. I do enjoy reading, and I've been reading a lot of Brandon Sanderson recently. Having finished all the Mistborn books, was reading the Stormlight Archive, the first book, so The Way of Kings. Lovely husband Dr. Tim also read that at the same time, so we read that one, we were both reading at the same time. Really enjoyed that, and both of us have now moved on to Warbreaker, also by Brandon Sanderson. Very different, very enjoyable. And I also read a completely different style of book, because I normally do read the whole kind of fantasy side of things, but read a completely different book, The Bookshop Ladies, by Faith Hogan, for our book club, which was just such a light-hearted story about friendship. Yeah, just very heartwarming, nice, easy reading, but I really enjoyed that as well. We managed to squeeze in a film the other day. We don't often have a nice weekend evening where we think we could sit and watch a film, but we did. We watched Inside Out 2 because, again, we wanted something kind of light-hearted, and although it has a pretty strong message, I would say, but yeah, something fun and something short. So many films are long these days. Inside Out 2 was a nice little a little short film, so yeah, that was lovely to sit with lovely husband Dr. Tim and watch that. And then we also started, we usually have a TV series on the go that we watch an episode of most evenings. We just finished the season 2 of Wednesday, which we really enjoyed that, and have now moved on to Alien Earth, because we heard some really good things about that a couple of episodes into that, and yeah, very much enjoying that as well. So yeah, and it's the Great British Bake Off. Oh, one of my favourite things to watch. I wait for every year. I'm excited for it to come around. So we are watching that. Lovely husband Dr. Tim also enjoys it. So I'm not doing, there were challenges, stitching challenges around Bake Off, which I am not going to do, but really enjoying watching it. Got my favourites, of course. They're all great though. They're all really good. So good. Anyway, that's a lovely fun watch. And I don't stitch generally while I'm watching that, or while I'm watching TV series, the evening bit that I watch, rather than, I can't really watch that and stitch at the same time. So that one is kind of just watching. Okay, so that does bring me to the end of all of my cross stitch and some life updates. I hope you've enjoyed seeing what I've got to share with you. I hope you've got some of your own stitching done while you've been listening to me chatter away. I will be back with you again in a couple of weeks for all of this again, but obviously in between then for lots of other stitchy goodness. So please do subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this and you don't want to miss a single stitch. And if you are looking for more support from me, an amazing community of cross stitchers, then please do come on over and join my Patreon membership. It is so much fun in there. I look forward to seeing you again soon. So until then, happy stitching and bye for now.